Hi guys, let's take a look at the Defenders, and not the upcoming Defenders that's coming to Netflix with Daredevil and Luke Cage and Iron Fist. More like the classic Defenders with Doctor Strange, the Hulk, uh, Namor, and all that good stuff. Essentially, the classic version of the characters. Essentially, the very first Defender comic I read was with Doctor Strange, Namor, and the Hulk. And holy crap, it was all kinds of awesome. It was masterfully drawn by Ross Andrew, and I really enjoyed that story. As you can see, I've included Doctor Strange, even though I did a video with Doctor Strange a bit earlier. I'm not going to do many looks with Doctor Strange since I already made quite a handful of videos with him so far. But I had to include at least one version of him in this video. Next, we'll look at our friend Namor the Submariner. It's the easiest and toughest character to make in this universe online because, in a sense, it's pretty easy to make him since all you really need is him in a bathing suit. It's pretty much that simple. But if you want to have a better looking Namor, that's going to be a bit challenging. But if you just want to recreate the bathing suit version of an Namor, that's simple. That's simple enough. At some point in the 70s, they tried to give him a more clothed costume. That's the only word that comes to mind. Essentially, it was masterfully drawn by John Romita Sr. And I recall also Ross Andrew doing a really good version of that costume. I couldn't really reproduce that costume, but this is about as close as I was able to get. It didn't really have the trident, but I thought that the trident symbol was fitting with that look. Then in recent years, he was part of the X-Men, and he had a look somewhat similar like that, essentially like with some blue stripes in the middle and some black on the side. Although the blue was like scales, sort of to evoke fish scales, I suppose, or armor scales. Sadly, I couldn't reproduce the actual scaly look, but the pattern of the colors kind of suggest the look of the character at that time. And here's an attempt to try and recreate the Silver Surfer. Obviously, there's no such thing as a surfboard, so the closest you can do is to come up with a Silver Surfer that actually uses two tiny surfboards or flying discs as we have in this universe online. So it's not quite the same as him having his own surfboard, but this is about as close to recreating the Silver Surfer as you can in this universe online. For the look, there's quite a few skins. Essentially, I went with the glowing skins, but there's a few other skins that probably could have been used to try to mimic the look of the Silver Surfer. I guess the biggest challenge with this character is that if you want to have different armories, as you essentially the surfer pretty much had that look through his whole history. So I'm not sure how you could try to get different armories with that character. But if you want to recreate I guess you could play with the colors a bit. Some could be more gray, some more white, and a few other variations like that. But again, this is pretty much as close to the surfer as you can get in this universe online at the moment. And of course, you cannot have the Defenders without the Incredible Hulk. I saw many great incarnations of the Hulk in the game. Obviously, the Hulk is a very popular character, and it's not rare that you will see a Hulk interpretation of the character in this universe online. And since we're looking at the Hulk, we may as well make a version of the Planet Hulk, if it makes any sense. The Planet Hulk seems to be pretty popular too because it's another incarnation of the Hulk that we do see a lot in this universe online. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the Planet Hulk storyline. It wasn't bad, but I can say I was really a big fan. I already showed Nighthawk in the Squadron Supreme video, but we couldn't really have a Defender video without Nighthawk. He was one of the important members of the group for quite a bit. I think he started in issue 25 and he went up to issue 100, 100 something. And sadly, they killed him in the pages of Captain America. Poor little guy. Here we have Damon Elstrom, also known as the Son of Satan. I wasn't really a fan of that character as a kid, but I learned to appreciate him a lot more in later years. And it was pretty. I was surprised at how easy it was to recreate the look of that character. Of course, that Miracle Escape looks all kinds of awesome, as always. And last but not least, the Beast. I know that for many people it's going to be strange to see the Beast here, seeing how the Beast usually is an X-Men. Although, personally, I learned of the Beast when he was an Avenger. And I guess it was a bit strange to see him then leave the Avengers to go join the Defenders, but what can you do? And of course, it was strange to see him go back into the X-Men later on in later years. Again, personally, I discovered the character in the pages of the Avengers. So to me, Beast always was an Avenger. So I was sad to see him transition to the Defenders. And then when I saw him go back to the X-Men, I was a little confused, but I got used to it after a while. Although it was strange to see people call Beast a poor imitation of Wolverine or a poor copy of Wolverine, although he predates Wolverine by at least a few years. I probably should have used a more beastly posture for the character, but although I didn't really want to use respect tokens, just to make a look video. And the racial ghoul hair, holy crap, does he look awesome with those hair. Uh, so if you want to recreate a beast character, maybe with a different posture or even a different build, like you could probably go for a bigger build. But the hair, you need the racial ghoul hair. As you can see, holy crap, does that look awesome? So this was a look at the classic Defenders. So thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.